The visiting Minister of State for the United Kingdom's Foreign and Commonwealth Office, Hugo Swire, says that despite a new government being elected to power, the position of the UK government towards Sri Lanka will remain unchanged. Speaking exclusively to Newsfirst Shamir Rasuldin in Colombo today, the UK minister said that the position of the United Kingdom at the UN Human Rights Council will be decided once the report of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is published.
You met several high-ranking officials of the government, including President Maithripala Sirisena today. What were the concerns you raised with him?
Well, I think we raised some concerns, but we also talked about the long-term relationship between the United Kingdom and Sri Lanka.
What were the concerns you raised?
Well, not the daily concerns we talked about were the issue which will be on everyone's mind here, which is the United Nations Human Rights Commission and the report, which is underway at the moment. And we discussed various aspects surrounding that report, when it might report, when it's due to report. This is all, of course, up to the Prince Zayed in Geneva as to when it's published. And we are very supportive. But we want to see genuine change in Sri Lanka and reconciliation. And we talked about our own knowledge of how these things can be achieved from our Northern Ireland experience.
March this year, Sri Lankan government is going to be again on the spotlight in terms of Sri Lanka's human rights record. What would be the position of the United Kingdom during the March sessions?
We await the report. I've seen some reporting that the session has, the evidence session has finalised and they're preparing the report. I'm not aware that's the case. We've had nothing to do with putting the report.
It's a new government in place. Will the thinking be changed?
No, I don't think so. I think the thinking may be changed in Sri Lanka about how to implement what the report recommends and continuing with the lessons learned and reconciliation as well. But I don't think what the UN comes up with from the report will change because there's been a change of government here in Sri Lanka. They'll say what they said, they'll talk about the facts. Well, the position of the United Kingdom is that we are a member of the UN and we were very keen to get this motion through Geneva and we will see what they say, but we have no inside knowledge of what the report is going to say.
Do you see the present government taking accountability for what is alleged to have taken place during the final stages of the war?
From my discussions with ministers over the last 2 days, I'm absolutely convinced that this new government is very, very keen to address the wrongs of the past and to agree with what we've always said, which is actually for the country to move on in a united way.
During campaigning, the present administration, headed by President Maithripala Sirisena, clearly said that they will not give in to international pressure. Do you see positive engagement in the future?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. As I say, how this report comes out, and we're not aware of any recommendations it's going to make yet. And of course, there are internal processes going on in Sri Lanka at the same time. So I think this whole thing is coming to a head, and we await to see the findings of this report. I'm not going to second guess what it says. I'm not going to second guess what.
But the position of the UK government on Sri Lanka will not change when the report comes out.
I think that Sri Lanka will look very closely, quite rightly, at the report. This is a new government. This is a government which wants to, in a sense, rehabilitate Sri Lanka's reputation in the international community. This is a government which takes seriously its chairmanship of the Commonwealth.
First visit was a previous administration, second visit a new administration. What would you be taking back home?
A very different impression of Sri Lanka that I got when I came out here for the heads of government meeting, the CHOGM, in 2013, where we were delivering some pretty strong messages. I'm taking away an impression of a government which really does want to address these long-term issues, which wants to re-engage with the international community, which wants to be a good global citizen, and is talking the right language.